Why do you sometimes feel exhausted even after resting all day? If you have ever slept, sat still, or taken a break, and still felt weirdly tired, you are not just imagining it. What makes that kind of exhaustion frustrating is that makes no sense at first. In this video, I will explore why your brain can feel drained even when your body has not done much at all. And the answer has a lot to do with mental fatigue, stress, and the way your brain uses attention. This video is based on research in cognitive fatigue, stress science, and attention research. Some days you wake up tired, or maybe you get through the day just fine, but by the afternoon your mind feels heavy. The thing is, you are not running a marathon. You are not lifting anything heavy. You are just living. Yet somehow, even when you're not doing anything physically demanding, you still feel worn out. Maybe you sat on the couch for an hour, or maybe you scrolled on your phone. Maybe you even took a nap. And still, when you try to do something simple, your brain feels slow. That kind of tiredness can be confusing, because on paper you did rest, so why do you still feel drained? A lot of people assume tiredness always comes from physical effort, but your body is only one part of the story. Sometimes what feels like tiredness is actually your mind asking for recovery, and mental recovery works differently from physical rest. To understand this, it helps to separate physical tiredness from mental fatigue. Physical tiredness happens when the body has used energy. Mental fatigue happens when the brain has been working hard by sustaining attention, exerting control, and constant decision making for long periods. That can also happen through experiencing emotional strain, dealing with unfinished tasks, and with stress that never truly turns off. Research on cognitive fatigue shows that when the brain has to keep control, focus, and effort going for too long, it becomes harder to stay engaged. The brain starts to feel slower, less motivated, and less able to focus. So even if your body is resting, your brain may still be carrying a load. One big reason is that the brain is always trying to allocate attention, deciding what to focus on, what to ignore, and what to keep active in the background. Every time you switch tasks, answer a message, think through a problem, or worry about something unfinished, your mind is spending energy. That is why even doing nothing does not always feel restful. If your brain is still processing, planning, or replaying things in the background, it has not shifted into a lower demand state. A useful idea here is attention residue. Research by Sophie Leroy found that when people switch between tasks, part of their attention can remain engaged with the previous task, even after switching. That means even when you are no longer doing the thing, your mind may still be partly there. Over time, that creates a feeling of mental clutter. So the tiredness you feel is not always about muscles being overworked or movement being too much more than you can handle. Sometimes it is about a mind that has had too many tabs open for too long. There's also the role of stress. When stress stays active for long periods, the nervous system may remain in a state of elevated activity, making recovery less efficient. Bruce McEwen's work on allostatic load explains how repeated stress can create wear and tear on the body and brain over time. That means you can feel tired even if you have not been physically active, because your system has been quietly working overtime. Emotion matters too. If you are carrying worry, pressure, or unresolved emotions, your brain is constantly using energy to hold those things in the background. Remember that emotional regulation requires energy, which contributes to mental fatigue over time. Hence, that feeling of exhaustion. In other words, rest is not only about stopping movement, it is also about giving your brain a real chance to stop processing. That is where many people get stuck. They may actively decide to rest physically, but they never fully rest mentally. And if that happens day after day, the tiredness starts to build. Another reason this can happen is sleep itself. You can spend enough time in bed and still not feel restored if sleep quality is poor. Research on sleep and emotional processing shows that sleep is not just a pause from the day. It is an active process that supports emotional regulation, memory consolidation, and cognitive recovery. So if sleep is fragmented, or too short, or not deep enough, you can wake up feeling like you never fully recovered. That is why I rested and I recovered are not always the same thing. Once you understand this, you become more aware of what needs to change. You do not just need more rest, you need the right kind of rest. Here are a few practical ways to help your brain recover more fully. First, reduce background mental load. Before a break or before bed, take a minute to write down what is on your mind. These could be tasks, worries, reminders, anything in your mind that feels unfinished or is nagging at your attention. The science behind this is actually sound. Researchers found that writing a to-do list before bed can help people fall asleep faster. The reason is simple. With the day's worries written down, your brain no longer has to keep holding everything in working memory. Next, give your mind low stimulation breaks. Scrolling may feel like rest, but it provides stimulation that keeps the brain active. Your brain is processing new information the whole time. Instead of endless scrolling every time you get a break, try other activities that are quieter. Things like sitting by a window, taking a short walk, breathing slowly over a few minutes, listening to calm music, or just doing nothing for a few minutes on purpose. The goal is not entertainment, but to allow your brain to recover for a bit. Third, protect your attention during the day. The more you divide and fragment your attention, the more tired your brain can feel later. Try to reduce rapid switching between apps, tabs, and tasks. Over time, even small improvements can help. In the same way, it is also helpful to let your brain finish one thing at a time. Whenever possible, learn to close loops. Finish typing and sending that message. Write the note in full. Run those errands in one go, then move on with your day. Developing this habit reduces the mental residue that makes tiredness linger. Next, treat persistent tiredness seriously. If you are sleeping enough and still feel exhausted most of the time, it may be worth talking to a health professional. Ongoing tiredness can have many causes, including sleep problems, stress, mood issues, or medical conditions. That does not mean something is wrong with you. It just means your body deserves a closer look so that you are closer to finding solutions. Please know that if you feel tired all the time, even after resting, it does not automatically mean you are lazy or broken. It may simply mean your brain has been carrying more than your body can see. Mental fatigue is real and invisible. Stress is real. But recovery is real too. The good news is that your brain can recover when you give it the right conditions. As we've seen throughout this video, recovery is possible with less noise, less pressure, less switching, and more space to just breathe. The key is to start small. Write things down. Take quieter breaks. Protect your attention. And let rest be actual rest. If this helped you understand your mind a little better, consider liking the video. It helps more people discover calm science. And if you enjoy calm, science-based explanations like this, subscribe for more. I would also love to hear from you. When do you feel most mentally drained? And if you want to keep learning, check out the next video on your screen. Until then, be kind with your mind.